Hello and welcome to your daily love reading for Sunday. My name's Liz and this is Guided by Angels. And I'm going to bring in 2 decks of cards for this reading today. I'm going to bring in the Twin Flame Sign and Synchronicity Oracle and the beautiful Heart to Heart with the Divine Masculine card. So we're going to connect with the energy around you, your person, your journey, and see what's going on. And if you would like a personal reading with me, you can reach out to me at guidedbyangelsxo@gmail.com. So thank you, angels. What's the energy coming in around you today? 1 card. What's the energy coming in around them today? We've got 2 cards. And the energy coming in around the journey today. The energy coming in around the journey. I've got a few cards coming out there. What are you dealing with today? What's the energy coming in around you? Jump straight on the camera there. What's the energy around them? Again, jumped out there. And what's the energy coming out for the journey? These cards are flying out the deck, very powerful. So let's see what's going on. So the energy around you today is strength comes from within you and above you. And that's what you're learning on this journey. You're learning where the strength really comes from. It doesn't come from them, it comes from inside of you. Your connection with yourself. It also comes from above you, your connection with Source. And you learn this on this journey when they aren't there. Okay, when your person isn't there, whether it's because they're with a karmic partner or they're just ghosting you or they're not around or whatever's going on, you learn to reconnect with you and reconnect with your source to find the power to carry on. That's why so many of us go through things where we feel we need to have their support and it's not there. It's not there. So we start questioning things. Why? Why aren't they there? Don't I matter? All of these things. But really what you're learning is you don't need anyone outside of you to deal with what you're going through. What you need is your faith in your creator, your faith in your angels, your guides, faith that there's something bigger than you watching over you, protecting you, keeping you safe. You know this. Maybe you've been through a loved one passing away and your person wasn't there for you. Or maybe you went through an illness or a disease, or you went through an accident and they couldn't be there for you. Maybe you just went through something very emotional and you needed their support, but they weren't there for you. Whatever it was, there's many, many ways they pull their energy back when you need them. And it's not because they don't want to be there. It's because, number one, you are learning to find your strength from within. You're learning that you don't need anyone outside of you to get you through this challenge or this obstacle or this situation. And that gives you strength. It gives you strength because you get closer to the Creator. It gives you strength because you remember your warrior spirit. It gives you strength because you realize, I don't need them to fulfill me. I fulfill me. And then you fill up your own cup. And then what you're connecting with there is your inner union. And the outer union is an extension of that. So you'll find that your person starts turning up for you when you don't need them to. And because that's what you're being shown. It's not about you depending on them. It's about depending on God. It's about you depending on the Creator, finding that faith. And also, they don't come to you in that moment because they don't feel capable of being around you in that moment. They don't know how to handle what you're going through. They don't know if they're strong enough to handle that. They're thinking, if I can't deal with my own self, how am I going to be a rock for you? So you find your rock from heaven. So really that's what I need to share with you today. If you're going through something today and you feel like you need them to be there for you, if you're expecting them to be there for you, if you think that's their job or if you think that's their, they need to do that because you're twin flames or you have a soul connection or because they're your person, then look within you and above you because that's where your strength comes from. You can get through this and you will. Whatever it is you're going through and experiencing will pass. Affirm it. This too shall pass. Remember your strength. Remember when you come into this world, you come into this world by yourself. They give me fear, which means you're born. You go, you're in a womb and then you come out of the womb. You come into the earth by yourself. You have angels around you, so you're never alone. But you do make that transition by yourself. And when we pass away, we may be surrounded by loved ones, but we make that transition by yourself. We are surrounded by angels who assist us and are there with us, which means we're never alone, but we have to do it by ourselves. So if you can come into this world and leave this world by yourself, you can get through things by yourself. That's what you need to know. So if you're going, I feel there's someone out there really struggling right now who is dealing with something, thinking they should be here, they should be there for me. Why aren't they doing this? Perhaps blaming them or resenting them because they can't be there, or even resenting other people like the karmic partner. Take back your power today. Breathe. And remember, anytime you feel you can't go on or you're struggling with something, it happens so that you find your faith. So you put your faith in God, the Creator, not in a person. Even if they are your twin flame, it doesn't matter. They're still a person. Like, you're a person, you are a spiritual being having a human experience, but you are still a person. God is the one to call on. And also we got transparency. I'm ready to have an honest conversation. So you're saying, I'm ready now to have an honest conversation. And you may actually be finding the strength to do that. But you're also being asked today to make sure that you respond with love instead of reacting with fear. If you want to have an honest conversation, that's great. But make sure you speak with words of love, not words of fear. Because if you bring up all the things like, oh, you should have been there for me for this, or you should have done this, or you should have done that, it's because you're putting expectations on the connection. And then your person will feel very guilty, they'll feel like a failure, and they won't feel good enough, and all those walls will go back up. So remember this when you're preparing for this conversation. And you can write down your feelings right now. You can get a piece of paper and a pen and write down what you're feeling. Or even get a piece of paper and a pen. This is a really good exercise to do because it will show you what energy you're in. Write them a letter. Do not give this letter to them. It's just for healing purposes. Write them a letter. Okay, put the name, Dear John or Dear Mark or Dear Ken or whoever it is. Write the name and then write down all the things you want to say. Get it all out. Imagine if they were sitting in front of you or standing in front of you right now. Write down what you would say. And then leave the piece of paper on the side, maybe go and have a cup of coffee or a tea, and then go back to it and read it as if you're your person. How does it make you feel in their shoes? Does it bring up pain? Does it hurt you? Does it hit you in the feels? Or does it make you feel loved? And, does it fill you with empathy and compassion? So it gives you an idea of what you're going through. So yes, you're ready to have an honest conversation because you want to bring in that transparency. You want to tell them how you feel. You want them to tell you how they feel, but you can't rush or force this. So you've got to find the strength. So I'm definitely feeling some of you are finding the strength to have this conversation, especially if you're thinking, oh, I'm at crossroads, things aren't working out, I need to speak my truth. But make sure you're not speaking your truth to get a reaction, because that's exactly what you'll get. If you're thinking, I'm going to tell them this to see what they say, or to get a reaction, or, if you're thinking, right, I'm going to give you an ultimatum, you have to remember this, that this love is unconditional love. It can't be forced, it can't be rushed, it can't be demanded or conditioned. You can't say it's my way or the highway. It's got to be this way or that way, because it doesn't work like that. You're learning to surrender and find faith in heaven. You're learning to give back to yourself all the things you crave from them, and then you're not expecting things. And when you have expectations, you get disappointed. So it's a great thing to do, I feel, this is what's coming through, to write down what you would say right now, because it gives you an idea of what energy you're in. And if you read it back and it's all negative, then you need to heal that first, because if you speak all these negatives out, and it doesn't matter whether they deserve it or they don't, if you speak all these negatives out, it's going to create more problems. And that doesn't mean you get walked all over or you hide what's on your mind. It means that you have to be in the energy of forgiveness too, to heal, because ultimately you want to move this connection forward. You don't want to push it back. So if you're saying how bad it is and how bad they've treated you, they're going to put walls up. Even if they're apologising to you after, they're going to go within, they're going to push you away, they're going to go silent again, because they're going to be processing everything you've said, and they're going to feel like a failure. So if you're ready to have an honest conversation, have it with yourself first and say, okay, am I doing this because I want a reaction? And that means you want them to say something back to you, or you want them to change the behaviour. But a reaction comes through fear and a response comes through love. And if you're wanting the strength right now, the angels will give that to you, because it doesn't come from your person. It comes from within you and above you. And that's what you learn on this journey. Strength comes from within you and above you. And I feel I definitely need to share that if you're thinking and saying to them, someone's passed away, maybe you're thinking, oh, my dad died and you weren't there for me. Why? You should have been there for me. Don't put demands on that. Okay, they don't need to do anything. Okay, because you're finding that strength to deal with that. Talk about it. I speak about this from my own experience. When my dad passed away, my person wasn't there for me. And I went through that myself, but I was guided to find the strength from within me and above me. So the energy around them is they are planning. So if you're thinking, why aren't you reaching out to me? Why are you quiet? Why? It's because they're planning. They're making the right decisions. They want those right decisions to be possible, so they are finding the solutions. So if you're seeing foxes, that's a huge sign of solutions, planning, working things out, especially if they're quiet. This is kind of the energy of the King of Swords, where they may seem distant, but they do love you because they're working things out. So you might be thinking, I want to have an honest conversation with you. Well, they are planning how they can do that. They're working out how they can actually sit down and talk to you and with you. Solutions are coming. So what does the fox say? What does the fox say? The fox is saying those right decisions are becoming possible. And they are also receiving signs because something is trying to get their attention. They are seeing signs. And the 666 energy is about the ego, healing the ego, but also things they're going through in their physical world that get their attention, that say, hey, you don't belong here, you belong there with your person. This needs to change in your life. So the crow is making them very aware of what they need to do. And they're also saying, I'm fantasizing about you because no one turns me on like you do. No one makes me feel the way that you do. You turn me on, you keep me strong. And this is about physical turning on and mentally, emotionally being turned on. They get turned on by having a conversation with you. They get turned on when they think about your body and the way you satisfy them. So they're having lots of fantasies about you and they're being reminded of you in a physical way. Now, the energy around the connection today, we've got cleanse the chakras. So you may need to cleanse and align your chakra system to enhance ascension. Now, look how powerful this is. First of all, make sure you're cleansing yourself. So you may feel you want to do that, especially if you are, planning to meet up and have that conversation and talk. Cleanse and align your chakras first. And then things won't feel out of balance. You won't feel like, you're being negative about a certain thing. You'll feel better. You'll be able to communicate better because you're cleansing the throat chakra. You'll be able to feel better because you're cleansing your heart chakra. You'll be able to think about the future and moving forward towards it because you'll have cleansed your root chakra. So think about that. Cleanse your chakras and look at this for powerful. Don't give up now. You're almost there. We got the energy of the polar bear coming in at the beginning of the week. I shared that picture. I know so many of you have shared pictures with me of polar bears this week because you've been seeing them. So again, there's that message there about perseverance. Don't give up because you're almost there. You are building a solid foundation no matter how things seem. And if you're being shown that, you may be seeing building work. We've got all down the street here, the scaffolding up, the scaffolding across the road, the scaffolding down 2 houses down the road as well. I've seen building work going on and other things. You may be seeing the trees being pruned or you're seeing drilling in the street. You're seeing these things again because it's about building a solid foundation. You get shown what's going on in your connection. So if you're thinking, oh yeah, the builders are in next door or the builders are in there, or you drive past and someone's doing building work and you're in traffic and you see that, it's a huge sign of building this foundation because you're moving into alignment with your mission. And your mission is to help the world, to be in service, to bring in solutions, not problems. So you need to let go of judgment. You need to let go of judgments. And this is definitely if you're judging your person for not being there for you at a certain time that you feel you needed them to be there for. You've got to forgive yourself. You've got to forgive them. And I say forgive yourself because, you can feel vulnerable for maybe saying to them, I wanted you there. Or, forgive yourself, forgive them. And they are really saying, I can't forgive myself for how things went down. So they also feel guilty. Don't think they don't. Don't think, they don't even understand that I wanted them to be there for me for that. And they weren't. They know. They feel bad about it already. They're struggling to forgive themselves for how things went down. And remember, judgment is a wasted emotion. It just brings in pain. If you judge others, you're going to be judged. The only person who has the right to judge, the only person who has the right to judge is God. And I say person lightly. The only being that has the power to judge is our Creator. And we all get judged. That's why karma comes in. What we give out, we get back. What goes around comes around and all of that. So forgive. And if you're struggling to forgive, give it to heaven. Say, Father, forgive him. Father, forgive her. They didn't know what they're doing. They don't know what they're doing. But I feel what I really need to share with you today is if you're wanting to meet up with your person, and there's going to be so many reunions coming in between now and December time, Write down first what you want to say. And do not give them that letter. Don't think, oh, I'm going to write this out and then give it to them. That's not the point. Okay, that will just cause more problems. This is for your healing purposes. If you can get things out now, you're going to see your own energy from their perspective. And that's what you need to work on. So if you're thinking, I can't forgive you, you can. I can't forgive myself, you can. It's about understanding that you're already forgiven. Okay, once you know that you've made a mistake, it turns into a lesson. And then you learn from that lesson and it becomes a blessing. It's only if you keep doing it over and over that, it doesn't help anything, because you're not learning them from the mistake. And there's no mistakes, there's only lessons. So you have to forgive. I feel there's a huge message about forgiveness. I feel apologies are coming in as well. And maybe that's what you want. You want the apology. But it will always come when you no longer need it. Okay, this card just moved on top of the deck. Your person is feeling empowered right now to be able to make changes, but they also must forgive themselves. So when you come together, they certainly don't need you bringing up the past and dredging it up, because it will make them defensive again. So I definitely feel there's a lot of healing taking place, and they are actually fantasizing about apologizing to you, coming to you, and all of that. So cleanse and align your chakra system today. Ask the angels to cleanse you. Don't give up. You're almost there. I hope this helps. Have a great day, and I'll see you soon.